Hello YouTube, this is Necrostevo and you're watching my 75th narrated Wi-Fi battle. No, 74th. It is the 74th. Sorry you all, the new year with the 2011-2012 change, I'm not able to write down anything correctly, and it'll be like that for at least a month. But thank you all for coming and watching my videos. I know I haven't been here for a while since I posted some Apocalypse Now videos, but law school started back up, so that kind of has been monopolizing my time because law school is kind of important to me. Just a little. It's only what I've wanted to do my entire life. But anyways, though, we have a battle today against Mr.NintendoFanMan. This was for the semifinals of the Mr. Shadow Blazes tournament. So this is actually a pretty good match. That, of course, that is an OU tournament. If you guys aren't subscribed to Mr.NintendoFanMan or Mr. Shadow Blaze, please go check them out. I'll leave both of their links in the description. On the first turn, I thought he might predict my Fire Blast and go into his own Chandelure, so I went for my Shadow Ball. But he predicts me to predict that, so he goes out into Staraptor, which was really cool. That's one of the dynamics I love about Pokemon. It's like a chess game, when you have people predicting what other people are going to do. And a lot of times people say don't overpredict on the first turn. And right there, that would have been nice, because I would have been able to hit that Staraptor with the Fire Blast. Anyways, though, expecting him to go for a close combat or for the not close combat, U-turn or Brave Bird, I went out to Ferrothorn, and he does go for U-turn, which is nice because he takes a good amount of recoil damage from the Iron Bars and Rocky Helmet. Expecting him to switch out to his Chandelure, I believe, I go ahead and I double switch out to my own Lantern, and he has Substitute on that right there. So that's a little bit unfortunate. I have to stay in with Lantern and take damage just to break it. But this is a pretty bulky Lantern. It has a really weird EV spread with some stuff. It has a lot of HP, then it has some in special defense, some in defense, and then a little bit in special attack. And it's a Parafusion Thunderbolt Hydro Pump set. So it's nice because normally Lantern can run a plethora of different moves. Anything from Heal Bell to the Parafusion to just running a full-out offensive set, or just being really, really wally. So it has some wiggle room in your opponent trying to figure out what the set is. I am able to break a Substitute. I could have gone for the Hydro Pump, but I was worried that he would set up another sub and I would just miss it. He goes out to his Tyranitar, though, and I see that he has Unnerve, which is interesting because, of course, that means no Sandstorm. Which is fine by me, because that means his Tyranitar is not going to take the Thunderbolt as well as he normally would have. But seeing the damage that did, he is a little bit more bulky. Don't want to stay in there. In case he has Earthquake, he might also predict something and go for Crunch. But he does go for Earthquake, and that's fine because Hitmontop is going to be able to take that very, very nicely. Just because of how bulky my Hitmontop is on both the special and the physical side. I wish I had Intimidate for that one instance, but for the most part, having Technician boosted Mach Punches is a lot nicer. Now here I was expecting him to go out to his own Chandelure, because of course my Hitmontop, the only thing it could do to Chandelure is Bullet Punch it. Some Hitmontops carry Sucker Punch, but he knows that he has Substitute, so I was expecting that. And since he went out to his Fortress, I was just expecting him to set up some entry hazards. The worst he could do, he could Thunder Wave me if he really wanted to. Fortress can learn that. But I didn't think he had that, so I just stayed in and Dragon Danced. I didn't want to get too greedy, so I just went for one because I knew he had Sturdy. So I went for the one, then I went for the Fire Blast just to stop him from setting up too many more hazards. He sees that I am going to Dragon Dance up, and he goes for a Volt Switch here, which is good because I get the burn hacks, which it makes it not matter because he just Volt Switches out. So that worked out okay. If he had stayed in and set up more hazards, then the burn would have knocked him out. But since he Volt Switches out, he doesn't have to stay in and take the burn. So he does get a chance to go out into something else. He chooses to go out into his Alakazam Magic Man. And I figured since he switched it in like that, he was probably sashed. And I misclick and I accidentally went for another Dragon Dance because Dragon Dance is right beneath Dragon Claw on my screen. And I guess I looked at it wrong, which is no excuse really. But had I not made that misclick, I would have just been able to knock out his Alakazam without losing my own Saphira the Salamence. Fortunately, I do have the Yacha Berry, which is going to cut down the damage from that Hidden Power Ice. And that means I am going to at least be able to stay in and bring him down to his Sash, which is a little bit important for later on. Because if he still had his Sash later on, that would have spelled a lot of trouble for me. But I am going to bring him down to that. He's just going to stay and knock me out with the Thigh Shock in case I try to switch on into something else. Which, at that low HP, there's probably not too much Saphira would have been able to do later on. I do have Intimidate, but he doesn't have that many physical attackers. So I bring in my own Alakazam. We have 4 spoons in this battle. This is like a super box of Raisin Brands. It's not just 2 scoops; it's 4 scoops. And he switches out, not wanting the chance to speed tie if he was timid. If he were modest, then there was no speed tie. I would have just outsped him. And here you see that the burn did not matter because he just death fought his fortress anyway, and so the burn never really gets a chance to go off. I guess that may have mattered in the chance. Well, no, because he volt switched out, so it didn't matter anyway. And I think I get a chance to set up Stealth Rock, so burn didn't matter at all, which is kind of nice. He goes out to his Vaporeon, and Vaporeon is very bulky. Even if he is running a physically bulky one, it has a lot of HP, so that I would probably need to 3-hit KO it with a Life Aura boosted Stab Psychic, which I don't really want to deal with that. So I went out into my special wall just to maybe think that if he went for a different move, that maybe I had the Water Absorb instead of the Volt Absorb. But he does just stay in and go for Scald, which is fine. I'm already regularly poisoned, so that's a little bit better than Burn, I guess, as far as the percentage damage you're taking from it. But with that said, I do stay in and go for Thunderbolt just to see how much it does, and here's where he shows me that he is specially defensive, because that did nothing. So I kind of wish I had Psyshock on my Alakazam for once, but more often than not, I'm finding out that I like Psychic more than Psyshock on Alakazam. It's only really mattered one time, really. But anyways, though, seeing that he is specially defensive, I decided that instead of trying to attack him outright, it's going to be better to try to paralyze him and try to go for some Parafusion shenanigans. And I don't really get to see the fruits of that too much, but it does come into effect a little bit, because when you paralyze something, you're hoping that eventually it's going to get parahaxed. Otherwise, there's no real point in doing it. I guess that there's a fine line between something getting parahaxed and someone getting paralyzed every single turn, because there is a 25% chance of paralysis. But you don't really, I don't know, personally I wouldn't want that to happen. I would just want every now and then a paralysis. But here I'm hoping that he gets paralyzed so he doesn't burn my Ferrothorn on the switch in. And he does, so that's that one turn of paralysis that I was looking for earlier. And that means I have a chance to set up my Stealth Rocks, and I have a chance to... I could have Thunder Waved again expecting a switch, because he might expect the Power Whip. And I didn't know if he would want to switch right into Chandelure like that. But I do just set up the Stealth Rocks to get some residual damage going. He has Toxic Spikes on my field, so why not pay him back by putting out some Stealth Rocks? Even late game, depending on what your opponent has left, Stealth Rocks can be pretty useful. As you saw, he had a Staraptor. He also has a Chandelure. And Tyranitar, of course, does not resist Stealth Rocks, so that's a few things weak to it. So there is a little bit of merit in setting those up. Expecting him to maybe substitute up, I went out to my Lantern again, just so that he would be forced to attack me. But he does just go straight for the Shadow Ball, which is fine, because now I can go out to my Alakazam, and since I know that he has leftovers, he will not outspeed me with the possible Scarf, which is the only way Chandelure could outspeed an Alakazam. And I'm able to just clean one-hit KO him with the Shadow Ball, which is perfect, because that means I don't have to deal with that thing anymore. Which is also nice, because that means my Ferrothorn just got a lot more utility in this battle, and it also means that I can also switch around a little bit easier, because moves coming from something with 145, I think, base special attack are really going to hurt. And so now I don't have to worry about getting hit by little bombshells as much. He brings in Vaporeon, goes for Scald. I figured that I could take this a little bit better than I do, even though I don't have any special defense EVs. But even after the Calm Mind, that's still going to hit. I don't have Recover, so that's still going to kill me in a few turns. So instead of getting greedy, I just went for Psychic. And that's really good that I went for Psychic right away instead of trying to Calm Mind up some more, because he has Haze, which is not something you see on Vaporeons too often, of course. Haze immediately nullifies all stat gains or losses that are on the field. So now I'm back down to neutral stats instead of having a +1 and a special attack and special defense. Even from that point, I'm not able to kill him with another Psychic, which major props for using a specially defensive Vaporeon. Normally when people see these things, they think physically defensive, so that definitely caught me off guard, and it works out pretty well for him. Fortunately, from that point, I am able to finish him off with one more Psychic, I believe, which is good, because in case he had Wish or anything like that, he's not able to get that off. And since, of course, I have Magic Guard, Poison is not going to whittle me down. And at this point, he really doesn't have anything faster than my Alakazam, because I killed off his Alakazam, and unless his Staraptor is Scarfed, he doesn't really have anything. Here he brought in Tyranitar, hoping that I had Energy Ball and not Focus Blast, which is funny because it actually taught Alakazam Focus Blast over Energy Ball right before this battle. Because I've been switching them back and forth because I have such bad luck with Focus Blast. But I decided, okay, I'm going to give it another shot. Actually lost another match against Vanillix Frost, if you all watch any of his battles, because of Focus Blast miss at the end of the battle. But I put it back on Alakazam for this battle, and it turns out that it helped out. If I had had Energy Ball, probably would not have killed the Tyranitar. And this is kind of just going to be a little miniature sweep, because none of the things that he has left can outspeed, and they're all one-hit KO'd by Psychic, or Shadow Ball is what I use on his Alakazam. So I did enjoy that match, Mr. Nintendo Fan Man. That put me in the finals of this tournament, which is going to be against Yellow Swellow, if you all know his channel. I'll battle him hopefully this weekend sometime. He's a little bit hard to get a hold of because he's pretty popular. But I'm looking forward to that battle because I had a battle on his Teal Tello channel, and also I've just followed his battles for a while. So please wish me luck with that, and I hope you all enjoyed this content. I'm going to start uploading a little bit more frequently now that I'm back in the game. But I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.